Setting boundaries, especially at work, isn't always fun, but they are critical to your mental health. So how do you maintain these boundaries in the workplace? Back today on Current, of course, psychologist and executive coach, Dr. Lisa Orbe-Austin. Lisa, it's weird. Sometimes your superior may ask you, can you do this? And we hear you must do this. Is there a point that we need to recognize when we might need to push back from those requests?
Yeah, I mean, I think whenever a request is made and it feels like a little bit not outside of the norm, it's always important to take a step back and ask yourself a bunch of questions. Is this within the scope of my role? Is this an opportunity to take potentially the next step or get some opportunity for learning in roles that are the next level role? Is this something that should or could be delegated to somebody else? Or is this a particular opportunity for me to get bonus points with my manager that potentially I can leverage in the future, and that you have also seen demonstrated that it's been leveraged in the past.
And so sometimes, like you said, delegating or asking someone for help, sometimes we do. We end up asking our coworker for help because it might be easier than admitting or telling a manager that you need it. So how often should we be then leaning on some of our coworkers?
I mean, if your coworker has bandwidth and they can help you, I think it's okay. But I think it's really important to be careful that we're not the perpetrators of overwork and kind of giving our coworkers additional work. That should be the manager's responsibility. So in cases where they are overloaded, it's really incumbent upon us to ask our manager for additional support. That additional support could be things that you don't have control over, like asking somebody from another team to help you out or bring in contract workers. So I think it's really important to recognize there are certain things that are out of our scope to get support on, and we need to be able to do that sometimes.
Yeah, I think also one big mistake that people make is just getting so overwhelmed. They flat out just say no, they can't do it, but they don't offer a solution. Why is suggesting maybe a plan B so important in these situations?
Yeah, because I think it often gives your manager an alternative besides you. And I think oftentimes it's good to give like a plan C, D, E, like to give them a variety of other options besides you. So it doesn't seem like you're the only choice. And that can help them not feel boxed into a corner when you only give them one solution. And also it gives you an opportunity to have an out, where there's clear opportunity for somebody else or something else to take it on.
And a lot of this comes from just a fear of saying no, right? Like you don't want to be the one they can't depend on, but what are some of the side effects of always saying yes to that extra work and rarely saying you can't do something?
Yeah, I mean, consciously or unconsciously, you get labeled as the go-to. You're everyone's go-to because people know you won't say no. And then as a result of that, you're overloaded. You eventually get burnt out. And then as a result of burnout, you can sometimes start to underperform, and that can have significant consequences to you. And so it's a really important thing to learn how to say no and to move away from people-pleasing behaviors, especially regarding tasks at work. And it's really good to teach other people that things can be delegated, things can go other places besides you. So I think it's a really important thing to kind of be able to do.
Yeah, some solid advice. People around here know I say no to everything. Just kidding. Sometimes you do have to say yes. That's the advice I need, Dr. Lisa. Make sure you guys follow her on Instagram at Dr. Orbe-Austin. We'll see you again next week.
See you next week.